Salvete, Marcus Aurelius sum. Odie questionibus historiae vestris arventibus respondevo.
Optime incepimus. Sciebamte hoc rogaturum esse.
Audite, primus fui cui die filium dederunt, commodum negare erat necare. Allow me to explain.
The Roman people and the legions believe in the bloodline. Had I chosen a wiser man, I would have signed my son's death warrant. To bypass Commodus would have been to leave a living claimant to the throne, a rallying point for any faction wishing to rebel. As for Commodus, I did not leave him to chance, but surrounded him with the finest tutors, Antistius and Ateius. When the treason of Avidius Cassius revealed the fragility of the succession, I brought him to the Danubian front to learn the discipline of the legions alongside me. I entrusted him to the care of Pompeianus, my most faithful general and son-in-law, believing that with good counsel his character might be molded. If he failed in his own virtue, that is a disgrace upon his soul, not mine.
So, natura senendat, incrementum non regimus. Officium principis cum saevitia tyranni confundis, ut res lugdunenses intellelas.
You must distinguish between the emotional spectacle of suffering, which the Christians cultivated with such stage heroics, and the cold, rational necessity of the law during a time of existential crisis for the empire. I did not actively desire their torture, nor did I personally devise the gruesome methods employed by the mob and local magistrates, for I have always striven to be a hater of cruelty. However, when the governor of Gaul wrote to me asking for instructions regarding these atheists, I did not turn a blind eye. I issued a rescript consistent with Roman legal precedent. Those who recanted their strange superstition were to be freed, while those who persisted in their obstinacy were to be executed. To a Roman mind, their refusal to offer simple sacrifice to the state gods was not an act of holiness, but an act of treason and a breach of the Pax Deorum, thereby inviting the Antonine plague upon us. As Pontifex Maximus, it was my duty to restore the religious health of the state.
Isia lugdunensium supplicia non venatio ad delectationem fuerunt, sed iuris ratio non tormenta mandavi, ut Deos libidine sanguinis placarem. Corpus perit, Theriac autor, Galeno caro, mihi ratio.
The Danube is cold, and my stomach gives me trouble. Medicine merely quiets the animal in me so the emperor may work. If the poppy brought the peace I seek, why would I labor every morning to master my mind? You think a man dragged into oblivion would need to write volumes to convince himself to be virtuous? The Theriac allows me to stand upright in the snow, while philosophy allows me to see things as they are. A purple robe is mere sheep's wool, and death is a mere operation of nature.
Medicamen dolorem tolerabilem facit, sola ratio vitam gravem reddit. Ilia erat unica animae meae testis.
I chose to see the wife who bore me 13 children and shared my grief over the many we lost. The caricature painted by the gossip of the mob for me is insignificant. As I told my tutor Fronto, I would rather live with her in exile on the prison island of Gyara than in the palace without her. The revolt of Cassius. It was the desperate measure of a mother who believed I was dead and sought a protector for our son, Commodus. When the truth emerged, I burned the chest containing all the letters exchanged between the rebels. Why? Because the best revenge is to remain unlike your enemy. Therefore, I lived no lie. I acknowledged their service by granting her the title Mater Castrorum, as she accompanied me to the front lines. When she passed away in Alala, I petitioned the Senate to deify her and established the Puelle Faustiniane to care for orphan girls in her name.
Quod atramento servatur, negare non possum. Nihilo minus.
First, you must recognize that Fronto and I were engaged in a high literary game of allusions, in which we cast ourselves as characters from the ancients. When Fronto sent me his discourse on love, he was imitating the speech of Lysias in Plato's Phaedrus. In this exchange, I cast myself as the Erastes and him as the Eromenos. This was a performance of skill and wit, where we utilized the Sermo Amatorius to demonstrate our mastery of language. Yet the words we chose were intense. I remember Fronto asking, "What is more delicious to me than your kiss?" I myself confessed to him that I burned with love for him, and that his letters set a longing alight in me. Is this the jus osculi, the familial privilege of kissing among the imperial inner circle? No, there was a tension there. Our relationship goes beyond mere politeness. It was a relationship of deep, perhaps singular emotion, where the lines between mentorship, friendship, and love were deliberately blurred by the art of rhetoric.
Aetate provectior, a rhetorica e vanitate, ad philosophia e veritatem me converti. Adolescens verbis ebrius erant, atque illo viro qui usum eurum medocuit. Vixi, scripsi, servi. Nunc silentium.